Invest early and invest often.
This is one of the things that I've learned from you, that you really don't have to have a lot of money to invest. I think this was something I always thought, that I had to have a bunch of money to invest. I was working a maybe slightly above minimum wage job when we first got married, and I remember they were like, do you want to contribute to a 401k or whatever? And in my head I was like, I don't understand what that means, and don't I have to have a lot of money to do that? But there's a bunch of ways
Oh yeah.
to invest without actually having to
Yeah,
have a
like
ton of
everything
money,
has
which I
changed.
didn't know.
Everything has changed in the last couple decades. So you go back a few decades and it's like, yeah, it's like pretty much only the wealthy people, or it was mostly the wealthy people who were investing. But like everything has changed with technology to where any of us can start investing, even with $100 or less. And the opportunity is available to all of us. And so, yeah, if you want to go invest with a financial advisor, those types of situations, oftentimes advisors, you want you to have a significant amount of money to invest with them. Not always, but that's fairly common. But if you want to do it yourself, there's a lot of ways to do it. Still very safe, and do it in a way where you don't need tons of money. It's just a different world. It's a completely different world. And I don't think, I think a lot of people just haven't realized that yet.
Well, and what's that thing with the investing in real estate?
Yeah, Fundrise. We've done a video about Fundrise.
And
That was one thing we
what's the
reviewed.
lowest amount you can?
I think that one's $500. And so you can invest in real estate for as little as $500. And we've been doing that 3 or 4 years.
Which is way better than 100,000 or 200,000.
Oh, yeah. You don't have to buy a house.
Right.
And it's like 100% passive, which is one of the things I like about it a lot. And yeah, and like that's been returning. I just calculated our returns on that for the last 4 years or something. And I want to say it's like 8.5, 9% or something. In which, yeah, that's great. Like I'm tickled pink with that. And that was actually on the more conservative option. They have 3 different options in terms of how they invest for you. And that's the more conservative one. And so I actually increased that to the higher, the slightly more aggressive one. And I'm going to see how things go over the next few years. But anyway, so that's one option. Like there's a whole bunch of different options. We did another video about an app called Acorns, which I really like as well.
Yeah.
You can start with $1 on that. It's so simple.
And
But
that's really for someone who doesn't want to really be involved at all.
yeah, 100% hands off, like
me.
super simple. So yeah, you can go to YouTube and check out, search for either of those in SeedTime, Acorns and SeedTime, or Fundrise and SeedTime, and you can watch our videos on both of them. But just here's the thing, like right now, savings account rates are so terrible that you're losing money if you have money in a savings account. Now your dollar,
That's
yeah, if
nothing.
it's buried in your backyard or in your mattress, it's the same thing. And the reason is because it's not like the actual money is disappearing, but the spending power of that money is disappearing with inflation. So
Right.
that $100 you have in your savings account, every year it becomes less valuable. It's not going to buy as much stuff over each year that passes. And as inflation has been increasing a lot lately, it's just eroding your spending power of money that you have in savings.
Right.
So if you go back to the early 80s or something, we had savings account rates that were over 10%, maybe even 15% in some cases, like just crazy high. That's a different world. Like if you can get savings rates like that, it's like by all means, that's great. But right now, if you want to not have all your money eroded away, like you need to be invested in something. Like that's how you're going to beat the pace of inflation.
Okay.
So this is just one quick example here I have sitting in front of me here. If you, right now, savings account rates are about 0.1%, like on average. You might be able to find some better
like
ones,
nothing.
even half a percentage, but that's pretty much as good as it's going to get right now. And so if you have an initial investment of $1,200 right now, so say you have $1,200 in your savings account, okay, with an additional deposit of
Okay.
$100 per month for the next 40 years at 0.1%. 40 years from now, that is going to be worth $50,000. Great, right? But if it's in the stock market, assuming a 9% return, it's not going to be 50,000. It's going to be 479,000.
Okay.
So you're literally talking
Are
almost
you sold yet?
almost 10 times as much by having it invested in the stock market than just in a savings account like that.
Wow.